Mentioned it, Em, before we went to the break, that updated Super Bowl odds now that the Rams are the third team into the divisional round.
Yes. So after the win, the Rams and Seahawks are now co-favorites to win the Super Bowl at plus 330 on DraftKings.
Okay. I understand that to a point. Here's the part that I want to follow up with you on, Sua. I get that the Rams have an unbelievable offense. They have a potential MVP at quarterback. They have, the Colby Parkinson caught the game-winning touchdown.
They just watched the same game as us, though, right?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
That this was a team that, for 2.5 quarters, did not play well. A team that clearly has real special teams issues.
Yeah.
A team that clearly has some deficiencies in their secondary that were exploited by a quarterback who does not really light it up through the air. Are they the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl with the way they're playing right now?
I have no idea how, because after watching that game, I am terrified to play Seattle or Philly. If the Rams think that you can go to sleep for 2 quarters against Philadelphia or Seattle, you will be going to Cancun. And it will not be a fourth quarter showdown. It would be a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter with you wondering what happened. But this is what the Rams have looked like the last 6 weeks, and this is why I've been so concerned going into the postseason.
Yeah, I want to go to the calls here in just 1 second. If you want to get in, 213-799-0139. And I think you bring up a really good point, because this isn't just that they got into a fourth quarter showdown because they played a couple of less than perfect quarters against a mediocre Panthers.
It's a bad team that played bad today and still had a chance.
Yeah, and it's been the better part of a month before they have looked like themselves for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Like when they were 9-2 for about a month and a half, 2 months, they were just knocking people down.
Who's beating this team?
No, who's beating this team? And now you look at it, it's like a couple of good quarters, couple of not so good quarters, some lackadaisical play to some very good play. They're kind of all over the place. Can you really put a ton of faith in that, knowing now if they play like they played at the end, if they played like they played through the first quarter, that team probably does beat just about anybody. But they haven't been that team for 4 quarters in a row in a month and change.
No, and Stafford's decision-making is concerning me a little bit because he has an aggressive style. Today, he should have thrown 3 interceptions. That's not my opinion.
Puka might have saved the game by punching that ball out in the end zone.
Of course he did. And on top of Carolina dropping another interception on a few tips. So it's I get the vetty savviness to want to be aggressive, to not fear any throw or any defense, and to always believe that you can get the ball into the end zone. But there does come a point where, and to what Emily was saying during the game, sometimes it's just better off taking what they give you. Sometimes the 5-yard check down, which he's normally great at, is the right play. Sometimes kicking the field goal is the right play. And I don't think you can get caught being greedy against Philly and think you'll get a second chance.
There's so many games, there's so many plays in a game that in the moment feel huge, and then you kind of forget about them because 10 more things happen after that. But I'm glad you brought it up again, because 3rd and 1, they throw the ball into the end zone. They take a shot. It's 3rd and 1, from about, I think it was about on the 19-yard line or so. They throw it into the end zone, and it's a bad ball. It's basically intercepted, and Puka breaks it up with kind of a landman punch-out. They end up getting a first down on the next play. They end up getting points on that particular drive. But that was a play that if it doesn't happen, we're having a very different postgame show right now.
Yeah, if it doesn't happen, maybe Carolina only runs the clock out, and they use those timeouts, and the Rams get the ball back with 1:20 left. But even then,
different ask.
That's a much different ask. Knowing you can't get tackled in bounds, you have no timeouts, and you need 6.